Hi everyone, my name is Krishna Balaji, and today I'm about to give a YouTube video on what I feel is a very important topic in today's life, the impact of AI on user experience. So in this talk, I want to explore how artificial intelligence is quietly shaping the apps and websites we use every single day. When we hear the phrase AI, we often imagine like futuristic robots, um, and just a sec, yes. Yeah. So when we hear the phrase AI, we often imagine futuristic robots, but in reality, AI is already hiding in very normal places like our Netflix homepage, Spotify playlists, our language learning cards, and our online shopping carts. My goal is not to give a super technical lecture, but instead I wanted to focus on and walk through like simple, familiar examples and ask a basic question. When does AI make our user experience feel smoother, smarter, and more personal? And when does it start to feel a bit uncomfortable, unfair, or even creepy? Along the way, I will talk about real benefits, but also challenges like bias, privacy, and trust. By the end, I hope you will see everyday apps a little differently and think more critically about how AI and user experience fit together in your own life. Yes. So basically, I want to basically set the expectations for what the next 20 minutes would be like. I'm basically focusing on how AI affects user experience, not on how to code AI models themselves. And when I say AI today, I mostly mean systems that watch what we do in apps and then make smart guesses about what we might want to do next. We will look at like four concrete examples: Netflix, Spotify, and Duolingo and online shopping sites like Amazon. For each one, I will show how AI is used and what it feels like from a user point of view. Then we will zoom out and talk about patterns. Why do these features feel so helpful most of the time? When do these cross the line and feel invasive or unfair? Think of this talk as a like, guided tour of AI in everyday interfaces with equal attention on core design and on the possible downsides for real people. So a quick refresher on what UX and AI are. These are the two key ideas that I will be looking out throughout the YouTube video. And the first is user experience, which is just not about how an interface looks, but also how it feels to use a product from the user side. That includes how easy it is to complete the task and how confident or confused you feel, whether you trust the product or whether you would want to come back to it. The second idea is artificial intelligence AI, which in this talk, I'm not going to be talking about like science fiction. I mean, like systems that learn from like data and then predict or decide something. Examples are like recommendation systems that pick movies, chatbots that answer questions, or adaptive learning systems that choose the next practice problem. When you put UX and AI together, you get a design challenge, and you're basically no longer just designing, sorry, just a second, buttons and screens. You're also shaping how an intelligent system behaves in front of a human, and that's a very powerful thing to see. So here's a list of the everyday AI that you already use. Like I was speaking about the examples. Basically, think about a normal evening, and you open Netflix, and the homepage already looks different from your friend's screen, even though it is the same app. That is AI. It is using your past watching history to build a custom front page just for you. Then you put on headphones and open Spotify. It offers a Discover Weekly playlist that somehow knows your taste better than your friends do. Again, that is AI at work. Later, you might do a quick Duolingo lesson. The app decides whether to give you a review exercise or a new grammar point based on your past answers. When you shop online, Amazon suggests items before you even type it in the search bar, and a chatbot can tell you where your package is. The key point here is that most of this intelligence is invisible. It runs quietly in the background, but it completely shapes what you see and what you end up doing in the app. So let's look at the first case study. Uh, Netflix is what I wanted to start with. Like I was explaining regarding the homepage. So it's a classic example of AI and user experience working together. When you open Netflix, you are basically not seeing a neutral list of every show. You're seeing a homepage that has been like carefully personalized for you. The system looks at like what you watched, when you stopped, what you finished, and what people with similar habits liked. Then it builds rows of suggestions and even chooses which cover image to show for each title. From a user side, this usually feels great. You do not have to scroll forever. Within a minute, you can probably find something that fits your mood, that reduces decision fatigue, and makes the app feel smooth and helpful. At the same time, there is a hidden trade off. If AI is always picking from a narrow set of options, you may not set the full range of content out there. We will come back to that later when we talk about filter bubbles. For now, just notice about how central AI is to the Netflix experience. Yeah, this is the first case study. So now moving on to the next one, uh, Spotify. So the next case study is about Spotify. Basically, everyone uses Spotify like daily, and we listen to songs every day. And basically, Spotify is another great example of how AI is shaping user experience, especially around discovery. The app constantly watches what you listen to, what you skip, what you save, and even which songs you replay. It also analyzes songs themselves, such as the tempo, energy level, and sometimes lyrics to cluster tracks by mood and style. Then it uses all of this to build playlists like Discover Weekly or the daily mix that pop up automatically. As a user, it feels like Spotify is like your friend who knows your music taste and keeps sending you like new songs that you actually like. This is actually a huge UX win for Spotify because discovering new music usually takes a lot of time and effort, but they make it really easy for the user to find that. On top of that, things like Spotify Wrapped, which turn your listening data into a playful story at the end of the year. That moment where you share like your top artists on social media is another good example of AI-driven data turning into a fun and emotional user experience instead of just a cold algorithm that other companies use. Yeah. So now moving on to the next case study, which is Duolingo. Duolingo is quite interesting because it like shows AI used in a more educational setting. So when you do a lesson, the app is not just following a fixed textbook order. The app is not just it basically watches every answer you give. If you keep missing a word, it like knows you need more practice and will bring that word back in later exercises. If you are doing really well, it will move you forward faster. And this adaptive behavior, which is like basically powered by the AI models, estimate how likely you are to remember each concept at any moment. So this really helps in adapting how in suggesting what like you should learn and like what word you should keep on practicing. Basically now combined with streaks, gems, and like cute characters, it makes the experience feel more like a game rather than homework. And like from a UX perspective, this keeps learners more motivated, especially beginners. The app feels more like a personal tutor that adjusts to you rather than a one size that fits like all like basically everything like a textbook. At the same time, there are questions about how much control you have over your path and how well the app explains why it is choosing particular exercises for you. And yeah, that's Duolingo. Now we come to the fourth case study, which is online shopping. I wanted to focus on like a website like Amazon. So now for online shopping, sites like Amazon basically use AI heavily on almost every page. Every person generally like online shops at least multiple times in a year, if not like monthly. So like when you open a product on the web page, you do not just see that item, you also see rows like customers also bought and recommended for you, like shown in the image. And these are not random. They are based on huge amounts of data about what similar shoppers clicked and bought in the past. From a user experience point of view, this can be really convenient. If you buy a camera, the site will immediately suggest the right memory card and case, saving you from searching through a massive catalog. Many stores also use chatbots for customer support. You can type questions like "Where is my order?" and get an instant answer without waiting on hold. The downside is that AI also decides which products get attention and which ones stay buried. So your view of the store is shaped by an algorithm that you never really see. Again, that tension between convenience and control shows up. So this is another example of good user experience, and basically you are more likely to find the right product that you want more quickly and more efficiently. So now, why companies love AI in UX? So at this point, it seems pretty clear that AI can make like uh, experiences more feel more personal and smoother. So it is no surprise that the big companies love investing in these systems. And So when the recommendations are good, people do find something to watch, like in Netflix, or like to listen to a new song that has just been released in like Spotify, and like online shopping through Amazon. So basically, it means like they spend more time on the platform and are more likely to come back the next day. This really helps in engaging the user to constantly use the app again and again. Adaptive systems, basically like Duolingo, help keep the learners engaged longer, and which is great for like their subscription count and the completion rates. AI also gives companies a lot of data about what works and what does not, so they can constantly tweak the design. From a business side of view, this usually translates into more engagement and more revenue. The interesting question, though, is that, and I want you to keep that in mind as a viewer of this video, is whether what is the fact that whether what is best for the company is always best for the user as well. And sometimes there is alignment with that, I would say, but sometimes there can also be pressure to optimize for attention or sales in ways that are not great for people in the long term. And yeah, this is the main question that most people have generally, and whether the so AI could be used for like benefits, but it could also sometimes be used to get more sales, and that might actually harm the users. So let's look at the key benefits first. And so basically the key benefits for the users are like so basically what they gain is when AI is used well in UX. So the first big benefit is like personalization. It makes the apps basically instead of everyone getting like the same generic homepage, the app adapts to your tastes and like your pace and even your abilities. That can make technology feel less cold and more like it fits into your life. The second benefit is like efficiency. AI cuts down like the time needed to decide what to watch, what to listen to, or which product to choose. You get to the thing you care about faster. A third benefit is basically discovery. You basically like the recommendation systems can basically surface music, shows, or resources that you would never have found on your own. There's nothing like a good recommendation, like of a new song or for a new product that you have never tried out. And like finally, I would say like AI can also support accessibility, like things like voice assistants and automatic captions and smarter text solutions basically make it very easy uh, for people to access certain products. When you put all of this together, the overall experience can feel more smoother, more supportive, and sometimes even more fun. The challenge is to keep these benefits while reducing the downsides we will talk about in the next one. So the challenge is challenge one, which is basically bias and filter bubbles. So the first challenge is this basically because AI learns from data, and it also inherits patterns and gaps in that data. If a platform historically promoted certain artists more than others, a recommendation system might keep repeating that pattern and quietly push other artists into the background. The same thing can happen with news, videos, or any other content. For users, this can create like a filter bubble. You mostly basically just see things that match what you already like or believe. At first, it feels very comfortable, but uh, as time progresses, because the app seems to get you, uh, like it could basically become more narrow or even unfair. Certain voices or like perspectives may almost never show up in your feed. And from a UX standpoint, this is like a real risk where the product might feel smooth, but it is also limiting like your surroundings to just like one artist or one product or a certain type of product. Designers and engineers have to look for ways to build in diversity, randomness, and fairness checks so that AI can also help people explore more and not just less. The second challenge is transparency and trust. The second challenge basically is because we have no idea why an app suggested something. A show just appears in the top row or a product appears in a special box and we are expected to trust it like it belongs there. So like when people basically cannot see the logic. The system can feel like kind of a black box that can make users feel more suspicious, especially if the recommendation system seems off or feels like a hard sell. One helpful explanation and one example that I would like to give is like to show short explanations. Uh, Basically, to help you say that is that Netflix might say that because you watch this other show, and shopping sites might say that because you bought this item. Letting users rate or hide suggestions also helps them feel more in control. Good UX treats AI suggestions as hints that the user can accept, ignore, or refine. It does not present them as mysterious commands. The more transparent the system is, the easier it is for users to build a healthy level of trust instead of blind trust or zero trust. This is basically about transparency and trust. Third challenge is privacy and creepiness. The third challenge is privacy and what I will call is the creepiness factor. Personalize AI. To personalize, AI needs data. That means tracking what you click, how long you watch, where you pause, sometimes even your location or your voice. If this is not explained clearly, users can feel like they're under constant surveillance. You might have had that moment where you see a recommendation and think, how do they even know that about me? Good UX cannot ignore this feeling. It needs to offer simple controls, things like edit my history, turn off personalized ads, or clear my data completely. It also needs honest communication about what is being collected and why. Designers should literally ask themselves, would I be comfortable if this were done to me or to a close friend? If the answer is no, the feature probably needs to change. Respecting privacy is not just a legal checkbox, it directly affects whether users feel safe and respected when they use the product. Yeah, this is another challenge. And now moving on to the last challenge is like the over reliance on AI. Uh, so when apps get very good at picking content for us, it can be very tempting to let them drive everything. Netflix autoplays the next episode, Spotify serves endless mixes, and we just keep consuming. In learning apps, constant hints and corrections can make it harder for students to perform when the supports are gone. There is also a risk that people accept answers from chatbots without double checking in serious situations. For example, using a chatbot for health information or financial advice without verifying it anywhere else. From a UX perspective, we do not want users to become passive. Good design keeps the human in charge. That means offering ways to explore manually, to override suggestions, and to pause autoplay. The goal is to use AI as a smart helper, not as the only decision maker in a person's life. So, what does responsible design look like in practice? First, it starts from user needs, not from the excitement of a new model. Instead of saying, we have AI, let us use it somewhere, you ask, where are people struggling and can AI genuinely help? Second, you make it clear, like when AI is involved and what it is doing. Hidden automation can easily feel sneaky. You can also give people simple explanations and easy ways to give feedback, like thumbs up, thumbs down, or report the suggestion. Next, you can also basically offer controls and such as a slider between more personalized and more broad results, or the option to reset your recommendations. Finally, you test with real users from different backgrounds to catch issues with fairness and trust early. Responsible AI UX is not about perfection. It is about constantly checking that the system is serving people and adjusting when it is not together. So to wrap it up, AI is basically already deeply in into our daily user experiences. It can make apps feel more personal, efficient, and accessible, as you saw with Netflix, Spotify, Duolingo, and online shopping sites like Amazon. At the same time, it introduces serious questions about bias, transparency, privacy, and over-reliance. As students and future designers or engineers, we sit right in the middle of that tension. The main message that I want to leave you with this video is that AI in UX is powerful, but it is not neutral. Every design choice about how AI recommends and explains and collects data affects real people. When we build or evaluate products, we should ask two questions. First, does this feature genuinely help users? Second, does it respect their autonomy and dignity? If we can say yes to both, then AI is not just a cool technology, it becomes a tool that actually improves everyday life. Thank you for watching.